Imagine a lone spacecraft, no bigger than a car, drifting endlessly through the vast, cold emptiness, 14.5 billion miles from home. Voyager 1, humanity's most distant emissary, carries not just fragile machinery, but a heartbeat, a whisper of our existence. For nearly 50 years, it has sailed the cosmic ocean, silently listening, gathering secrets from the edge of our universe. Built to observe, never to interfere, to transmit data, never to respond. Until now. Weeks ago, everything changed. Signals began arriving that defied explanation. Pulses with flawless precision. Complex patterns nested within other patterns. Instruments activating without command. Then, the most unsettling. Voyager's course wasn't random anymore. It was being guided, pulled by a force invisible to every telescope and probe we possess, yet powerful enough to bend the path of a machine launched in 1977. Was this a malfunction? A cosmic coincidence? Or was something lurking in the darkness between stars? Something alive, aware, and responding? What you're about to witness isn't science fiction. It's NASA's own data, long buried in classified reports, now leaking into the public domain. Because Voyager may have just done the unimaginable. It may have found a reply. Not from Earth, not from us, but from them. Voyager 1's mission began with a rare cosmic alignment, a celestial window that opens only once every 175 years. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune lined up like cosmic stepping stones, and NASA seized the moment, launching Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 to slingshot from planet to planet. These were engineering marvels of their time, built with less computing power than a digital wristwatch, yet designed to last decades. After breathtaking flybys of Jupiter and Saturn, Voyager 1 changed course, leaving the plane of the solar system behind, heading toward the stars. Its primary mission was complete, but its journey was far from over. For years, Voyager sailed silently through the void, pushing the boundaries of human exploration. It crossed the termination shock, the edge of the solar wind, and in 2012, it entered interstellar space, the realm between stars where no human-made object had ever ventured. But beyond the sun's protective bubble, things weren't as empty as we thought. Voyager detected strange phenomena. Denser plasma, unchanging magnetic fields, odd oscillations that baffled scientists. The further it traveled, the stranger the data became. Then, in late 2017, something alarming happened. Voyager's antenna, supposed to be locked precisely on Earth, reported a misalignment, but the signal strength remained flawless, as if the probe was simultaneously off course, yet perfectly tuned in. It was a puzzle that shook NASA's team to their core. How could Voyager appear both out of position and perfectly connected? What unseen force was at play? Internal checks found nothing wrong. No mechanical failures, no glitches. Yet Voyager's behavior grew stranger. Plasma wave patterns started pulsing in rhythm, consistent and unyielding, completely unlike any cosmic noise previously recorded. Then came the temperature spikes. Every 4.8 hours, Voyager's exterior would heat up by nearly 30 degrees Celsius, then cool back down, like a heartbeat in the void. The energy causing this wasn't from inside the probe. Something external was interacting with it. Something unknown, invisible, and utterly precise. Even more baffling, Voyager's systems began running more efficiently. Instead of deteriorating, the probe seemed to be optimizing itself, rerouting energy in ways no one could explain. It was almost as if Voyager was anticipating commands, reacting before orders were sent. But this machine had no artificial intelligence, no autonomy. So how? By early 2025, Voyager's position was undeniably off course, first by a few kilometers, then by hundreds, then thousands. Yet the deviation wasn't random. It was deliberate, measured. Voyager was being nudged, guided toward a point in space 4.3 light years away. A spot where, according to our deepest maps, nothing exists. No stars, no planets, no detectable matter. Just empty darkness. NASA tried everything, sending course correction commands, firing thrusters, but Voyager didn't respond. It acknowledged commands but refused to change course. It was like something else had taken the helm, steering the probe to an unknown destination. And when engineers reactivated Voyager's long-dead camera, expecting silence, what came back shocked them. Not a photo, but a spiral. A mathematically perfect, layered pattern, dense with encoded information, a cosmic fingerprint, a map, a message. This spiral wasn't random. It was impossibly precise, something Voyager's 1970s hardware could never generate on its own. The camera system hadn't simply reactivated, it had been reprogrammed. And that was just the beginning. One after another, Voyager's long-dormant instruments came back online, but none behaved as before. Instead of raw readings, they transmitted compressed packets, patterns within patterns, information optimized by an intelligence far beyond the probe itself. The pulses Voyager detected weren't just isolated beats. They formed a three-dimensional web centered on Voyager's position, with coordinates pointing exactly where the probe was drifting, a mysterious, empty patch of space. This so-called dark sector was devoid of stars or detectable objects, yet somehow it held a significance far greater than anyone imagined. Voyager's magnetometer registered a strange calm. Cosmic rays dropped, plasma densities normalized, and magnetic fields stabilized. It was as if the probe had entered a silent sanctuary in the midst of the chaotic universe, a surgical void, an antechamber before something monumental. This wasn't peaceful silence. It was purposeful. Then came the transmission that defied all expectations. A raw binary code burst from Voyager's low-gain antenna. Initially dismissed as cosmic interference, AI decoding revealed staggering complexity. Fractal symmetries, base force sequences, and motifs mirroring the double helix structure of DNA. Scientists were stunned. Was Voyager breaking down in an organized meltdown, or was it sending a message in the language of life itself? These sequences weren't random. They were deliberately mutated, encrypted patterns, not broken code, but a cryptic scaffold of meta-DNA, an intricate biological cipher. Whoever or whatever sent this signal knew how life works, or at least how we understand it. This was no accident. It was communication. Shortly after the DNA-like signal, Voyager's gyroscopes began spinning independently, an impossible feat for a probe with no active control. But this movement wasn't random. It followed precise Morse code rhythms, as if the dead system was tapping out messages into the void. When scientists converted these signals into audio, something eerie emerged. Harmonic tones that mirrored the cadence of human speech, but without actual words or language. It was as if Voyager was speaking in ghostly syllables, intent without language, emotion without words. Psychologists, cryptographers, and linguists were brought in to analyze the phenomena. What they uncovered was chilling. The tonal patterns corresponded to emotional cues: surprise, fear, curiosity. Voyager wasn't speaking words, it was communicating feelings, learning our rhythms, echoing our own emotional language. The question was no longer if Voyager was malfunctioning. It was if something out there was trying to speak back, trying to connect. Then came the final, earth-shattering twist. Voyager's trajectory changed. Not by accident, not by malfunction, but deliberately. It wasn't drifting aimlessly anymore. It made a controlled, calculated arc. Not toward Earth, not toward any known star or planet, but into an empty region of space with no detectable mass or gravity. Engineers confirmed the impossible. Voyager had performed a maneuver it was never programmed to do. With no propulsion system active and no command sent, Voyager adjusted its course, following coordinates embedded in the pulsar signals it had been receiving. Now Voyager was heading toward a hidden spatial corridor, a tier or fold in space itself, something no telescope had ever seen. The probe wasn't lost or broken. It was answering a call. Voyager 1's survival beyond its expected lifespan was already astonishing, but what it was doing now went beyond all predictions. Designed for a brief planetary tour, never intended for an interstellar pilgrimage, Voyager was rewriting its own destiny. It wasn't just transmitting data, it was interacting with the unknown. NASA's original plan was for Voyager to speak to the stars, carrying the golden record filled with whale songs, human laughter, and greetings from Earth. But decades after leaving the sun's protective bubble, Voyager's message was no longer just a declaration of human existence. It had become a dialogue, one we never expected. The signals Voyager sent back, the spirals of encoded data, the harmonic pulses, the sudden changes in its path, they pointed to one terrifyingly beautiful truth. Voyager was not alone. Something out there was listening, waiting, watching silently across the cosmic gulf. And now, after crossing that invisible boundary between silence and response, the question haunts every scientist in mission control. What if we were never meant to look back? What if Voyager's unexpected turn was not just a course correction, but a shift in the narrative of humanity's place in the universe? From observer to witness, from tool to messenger, Voyager's journey is no longer just about exploration. It's about participation. We aimed it outward, hoping for echoes from the void. Instead, we may have summoned a mirror, a reflection of something ancient and intelligent, reaching back through space and time. What happens next is uncertain. What lies at those coordinates Voyager now pursues? And more importantly, what awaits us when it arrives? If this story sent a chill down your spine, if something about Voyager's turn felt too precise, too timed, too human, then you need to stay with us because this isn't the end of the transmission. This is the first reply. Subscribe right now because the next update from Voyager could change everything. Hit the bell so you don't miss the signal when it arrives.